What's up, guys?
It's Mr. Worldwide. So let me stop. It's Omar. How y'all doing?
And my name is Paul, and this is the Back on Track podcast. Today, we got some real good guests. Got Alex. Want to introduce yourself?
How y'all doing? I'm Alex Lewis. I am currently the defensive back and assistant defensive coach for the 12U age division with the Tri-City Hurricanes, located in Newport News, Virginia.
Ooh.
Also 25 years old.
There you go.
About that.
We hit him. All right.
What's going on? Davon Stevens, 24 years old, school counselor right now at Ella Fitzgerald Middle School. Also a coach for youth football, 8 years and under.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, today we got some good stuff. We'll be touching on basically community involvement of people our age, people, young adults, what we can do to mentor the younger generation coming up. And then we're going to get into talking about some just general wellness stuff, taking care of yourself mentally, mindfulness, the whole shebang. So let's go ahead and start off. We're going to talk about, what is really the importance of having people our age versus, people that are like, 10, 20 years older than us mentoring the youth.
I think I can start off a little bit just to give a perspective of how our organization is. It's like a lot of other organizations where me and Alex are the youngest coaches up there, and also our teammate Jamie. We're all from the same class of graduates. And when we're at coaching events, it's like, all right, you got the 50 and up crew, you got the 40-year-old crew, you got a couple people that's 30, and then it's like the young guys. That's what they call us, like the young guys.
Young blood.
We bring it. Yeah, young bucks this, young bloods is whole different perspective. And it's like that big gap, like when they're almost like, yeah, we could be your parents, but we work on the same level, so we got to respect you type of thing. So big difference.
It's like piggyback off what he said. It's like a roller coaster. Like you can literally see, like on my staff alone, we have like the 40 and 50, and then we got like the 30, and then we got Marco. Marco's also in our class too. So it's like 40, 50, 30, 40, 50, and then it's like me and Marco, 25. Bang. And then after 25, it's the kids. So like it's like a we are your coach and your father figure, but at the same time, we're your big brother. So like, you gotta learn where to like be the big brother, and you gotta learn when to be the coach. And then sometimes you gotta merge it together. And like even though it's still football and it's still a game, it kind of like it's really a test to the mind. Like it really shows what you can really tap into inside, and it's actually an exciting challenge. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I like that though. Omar, you got anything?
I'm just listening right now. I'm gonna have some questions later though.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely the experts on this. I mean, I've been lacking. It's something that's important to me. That I wanted to get into. I was trying to reach out to a couple of teachers over at Denby actually. I wanted to start like a little mentoring group. I just, Davon, we might have to work on something because you know more about this than I do. I don't know what the best avenue or setup is, but that's something I'm definitely interested in because, man, I know growing up, we were just chit chatting about it, like how I grew up single parents, household. A bunch of y'all having the same thing too, and it really did take a village to raise us because, I mean, my mom busted her ass day in, day out, didn't complain about nothing, trying to do what she could to put food on the table, and then, who's left to raise me while she's out working like crazy. So, I'm extremely appreciative of all, the older folk that were helping, raise me and whatnot, but I definitely could have benefited a lot more from having people that were a little bit closer to my age, mentoring me and showing me the ropes about everything in life.
Completely agree.
That's like exactly off what we were just talking about before. It's very helpful to have that older advice, that older influence, but at the same time, it's like I get it, but how does that relate to me now? We're totally two different generations. I can use it, but at the same time, I want to be able to use something I can also relate to.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost like a catch-22 type thing.
Yeah, it's like same animal but like different beasts. Where we need that wisdom from the older generations, but the problem is that it's not always applied the same way or applied the same way that it was in their generation because things have changed so much with technology and just society in general. So like, whereas they grew up, and we were just talking about how they grew up strictly just playing outside. They only knew the people that were in their town. whereas nowadays we're all connected to everybody on this planet at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, the world's a lot smaller now. You know, the world's problems are a lot closer to us, even though they're, you know, 1,000 miles away across the world, which weighs on us. But like you were saying with the relativity of it, I think the biggest, you know, importance of having people our age mentoring is more so the fact that they're going through the present day struggles and experiencing what life's like right now, rather than what it was 20 years ago, trying to apply that same knowledge to today's situation. So I think that's one of like the most like heavily weighted like importances of having us around. And it's, I mean, a lot of people, like for me, it's a single parent, single child. So I didn't have no bigger brother, no, you know, big sister, nothing to help lead me. So it was, childhood was rocky. Survived it, obviously. You know, had a lot of stuff I had to definitely be introspective about, go back and revisit and heal from and grow from. But man, like I said, it would have been a lot easier just having, you know, good people around that I could go and, you know, learn from and relate to.
And I feel that being that we're at the beginning of like where technology started advancing super crazy, and we grew up with that way of connecting with people. So like we were the first group of people to connect on the internet, and we're able to meet more people outside of our areas and guide certain people to certain things that they wanted to do. So like with the younger generation coming up, we know how it started. So we can also help them navigate their way through how society is going with technology. But I want to step away from the whole technology thing and pretty much hop onto just the age gap. So like being that we're still younger and mentoring people, I say the big advantage is the fact that we can relate more. So like as far as like, let's say, Alex, you said you're like the kids you coach were how old?
They're between 11 and 13.
So yeah, 11 and 13 is way closer to 25 than, you know, the guys that are in their 40s and stuff like that. So you're going to relate on more things. You're going through things that they're going to be going through like a few years from now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's easier for them to relate to you, have conversations with you, open up. So like one thing that I noticed is with my last job, I got thrown into a leadership position very young. So I was the youngest out of all of the other leaders at my job, which were, I think the next age above me was like in their 40s. And I was only 22, 23 at the time. So like all the younger workers, which majority of them were young because it was the security world. You have a lot of young people that, you know, say pick up the job or whatever.
Yeah, the entry level.
Yeah. So they connected with me a lot more than they did with the others because I'm closer to their age. I understand what they were going through. And it just made them easier to come with things and made it also easier for me to lead them in the right direction for the job.
Yeah.
So like that big connection right there is something that I think is the biggest pro for being young and trying to mentor others. It's just it's easy to connect with them.
It's funny you said that because earlier we had a we actually had a team scrimmage this morning. Like today was actually a whole bonding day as far as like we had a team scrimmage in the morning and then we had a water country event, which I'm gonna go ahead and put out there now before the podcast gets, you know, posted. I didn't go. But I did go to that's another topic for another day. I had a scheduling conflict and then I was on my way there. They won't let nobody else in. Oh, sorry guys. But it's easy because we'll be at practice all the time and you know, the older coaches would be like, man, what's wrong with you? How old are you? And the kid would be like, oh, I'm 11, I'm 12. He'd be like, I can't even remember that. And I'm like, well, that was just like 9, 10, 11 years ago.
That's just the other day.
Like just the other day for me.
Yeah.
Like, so it's good to have that bridge. It's good to have that bridge, like two sides of the bridge. Okay, the kids are at the beginning of the bridge. The older guys are towards the other side. I ain't gonna say the end. That sounds bad. But the other side of the bridge, and then you got that median, which would be like that younger gap that splits the difference. So I feel like that's good. Not only just in my situation, but like even at work. Like you don't want a bunch of old people or like a bunch of young people at work. You need a good balance with everything. Yeah, balance is one of the biggest keys in life. Absolutely. I feel like personally. So
amen to that. Y'all got anything else? If not, I got something we can move on to.
Yeah, I can add on to Omar's part. I just graduated, so I've been doing internships inside the school because I know I wanted to work in the school. And Omar, just like how you said, like being that new younger face for people to relate to. I just did an elementary school in Virginia Beach this last semester, and the kids, like, they connected to me so fast. And the older people at the job was like, why, how did they connect with you so much? What is a Minecraft? What is Fortnite? What is all of this stuff you're talking about? And then it's really like, oh, you really just don't get it. Like, and it's not to blame you or anything. It's just that I understand that you really don't understand like the technology side of things. And even if I explain it to you, you still can't grasp it because I'm explaining it to you what it is, and it's just mind blowing to you that a kid, I was doing elementary, these are kids that are third grade that know how to get online and talk to random people. And when I'm doing lesson plans about the safety of online stuff and getting on games, they're like, what? Safety? They know people from their neighborhood. I'm like, no, like they can speak to anybody in the world almost. So it's a whole new perspective being brought in. And it's just like, if I wasn't here, that disconnect would never be filled. Like, so I just think about that every time I go to work. Working in the school is like, dang, if I'm not here to help bridge this gap, then a lot of these people feel like they're not getting understood. A lot of these kids cannot relate to you. And it's like, it's always a division between generations, but I feel like our generation probably gets like the most heat from it a little bit because it's like,
it was such a big change.
Yeah, it's so drastic. Like everything, we got to be outside. We were a part of that. And then we got the transformation. Like we just said, we saw everything happen. Like we were on Facebook, we were on MySpace, while trying to get up there because we wasn't old enough. Like we were trying these things. And it's like, so we can relate to both sides of the spectrum, while some people in older generations are like stuck in their ways and they just don't like the technology. They bash us for it, but it's helping us mend people together. Like Paul, when we were talking today, the world is connected right now through technology, and like a lot of people are missing out on that aspect. So I wanted to definitely speak on that because it's affecting the kids and how you relate to them too.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah,
like,
go
it
ahead,
just,
man. Free flow it. Go ahead.
Just like it clicked. I don't even know why. This should have been like one of the first things I said. So at work, like, I work at a place where we have crews. We have crews, and like when I was moved to this crew, I'm legit the youngest person in the crew, and that's at 25. It's like 25, mid 30s, and it goes all the way up to like damn near 70. So when we have morning meetings every morning, and then you talk to people all the time, you know, with everything going on in the world, everything always revert back to when things were different, when, you know, when we were your age, or the way the world is now, this generation. So like you get to hear it from an older perspective, but at the same time, it's like you're kind of like accepting criticism on behalf of a whole generation. And I don't even take I don't take offense to it. No, I actually I like it. Like it fuels me. Like it kind of fuels me to be like, all right, he told me about a TV show today. Let me go back. Let me look at that TV show. Like, let me go on my lunch break. Let me Google whatever he said, you know, and it's like, okay, I get where you're coming from. But like, let me go around and ask different people like, hey, when you were coming up, what type of equipment, what type of tools did you use compared to what we got now? And everything like reverts back to technology, or everything reverts back to it's like a mental state of, and I don't want to say all older people are like that, but it's more like it's a stubbornness they have, but it's what they're comfortable with. And this day and age, you really have to do what you're comfortable with. A lot of people don't want to step outside the realm, but if they do, it happens. You get what I'm saying? So like,
on that, do you think that got me thinking? So have you ever heard the saying, you know, strong men create good times create weak men create bad times?
Not till now, but I like it.
Yeah, so it's basically just a cycle.
It's a cycle, yeah.
So, you know, when things get rough, the weak get, you know, they get trampled, right? They get left behind, that weeds them out. You get the strong ones step up and create the good times. They fix everything, right the course. And then from there, it gets so good and soft, kind of how it is nowadays, where it's just, we're so cozy that it's like we can't live without trying to find something to complain about. And it's getting so difficult nowadays that all you see online, all you see out in the world right now is people complaining about the dumbest stuff. right? And then when we get this soft, we get weak men, who then lead to hard times, and the cycle continues over and over. So, do you think, like, and this is to everybody, do y'all think that maybe part of the reason that this past generation was so stubborn was because they were coming up in maybe a little bit more difficult time, whether it was economically, just circumstantially, like where, everything we got nowadays is automated and easy, right? Our parents, our grandparents grew up in the days when you were still, hanging out your clothes to dry. You were hand wringing them on that laundry board.
Absolutely.
Like go ahead.
What I think it is it comes back to the technology thing.
Yeah.
They bring up these things like, oh, back in our day we did it this way, because they know they had to work hard for it. Meanwhile, they see us, we can learn anything on the internet now. And it makes our life a lot easier. I mean, I'm not saying our lives are easy, because we still have our hardships, we still got things we got to get through. But it does give us an advantage compared to what they had. And I think because of that, they're like, all right, we did it the harder way and we still came out good. And they want to stick to their guns because they know it worked. Even though it could be a lot easier if they, opened up to the new age.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. And Davon, you can touch on this, and if you got an opinion on what I'm going to say here. Like it's almost, I don't know if it's like out of a feeling of like resentment or like envy, maybe just jealousy of how like easy it seems we got it. Because I mean, back in the day, that was the biggest thing, was just your daily duties were your biggest problems. Versus nowadays, where, and we'll get into it later about how now you're trying to balance life with social media and your self-worth and your self-esteem, and how all that plays into it. Whereas we don't got to worry about little things. Again, it comes back to like the easy times, but it's definitely something that I feel like could contribute to like why it's so disconnected, and like why they refuse to like acquiesce, I guess, to the new times. Like even I remember my dad still would not pick up a freaking smartphone until about 5 years ago. We were on like the iPhone 8 or 9 at that point, and he's like, nope, I got the flip phone. Like, Dad, your life could be so much easier. I bought him a tablet just to show him, like, as a little, hooked on phonics for electronics.
General basics.
Yeah. So, it's, I don't know. It's crazy when, like, I never really thought about it like that, because, that's why I like these conversations, because I never dug that deep into, like, the actual issue. But, yeah, that's.
But all older people aren't like that, though. Because my grandfather, he worked overseas for a very long time. And I don't know if it's like how advanced other countries are compared to America, but that's not a knock on America,
no,
necessarily. I don't know, but
if it needs to be, it will be.
Whoever. Look, if the shoe fits, whatever. But he's very technology savvy. Like he's honestly one of the most tech savvy people in the family right now. Like from iPads to iPhones to car gadgets to, like, at one point he had an electrical lighter. Like some older people are like fascinated by technology, and those tend to be the easier ones to gravitate to in this day and age. Like it's not a stubborn, like he grew up where like he's fascinated, like he was so like amazed that there's an electrical lawnmower now. He brought one
because he realizes how easy it's making life.
He's not a hard, like he doesn't want to make life hard.
He embraces the change and the advancements, right?
He has the stubbornness mentality is there, but he doesn't feel the need to use it. It's like, hey, if this is the easy way to do it, go for it.
Do you know who that reminds me of? Coach?
You're right.
Yeah, so
you're right. And now that
I got to sit down with him when I was going through school this past year. I took a business class where I had to interview a entrepreneur, and I ended up picking him. And he basically gave me the full rundown of his, all his companies, startups, whatever, from top to bottom to present day. And the stories he was telling me, like I remember when he got the first iPhone when it came out, he got it the day of. iPods, everything, all technology. He was always on top of it. The MacBook, the whole thing when Steve Jobs was popping, he was always on it. You know what he was doing last year? You know the whole thing with Facebook with the metaverse? Yeah. This man, for the past 6 years, mind you, had been developing a project to create a virtual reality meeting area to where they could do seminars, they could do what are they called when you have like big meetups for like, you know, Comic-Con or something like that, whatever. Conventions. Yeah. So when you have conventions or you know, classrooms, the whole shebang, like everything. He is currently a virtual landlord, renting out virtual space to, I can't remember the name of the school, but there's a school in like the Midwest that he's renting out a room to. He does work with the MLS, teaching their referees on there. He's done a couple conventions, all that. So, like you were saying, like that's who that reminded me of. He's just embracing everything.
But if you go back to that season, if you ever just sit down, not even look at like the most memorable moments, just like the everyday practice or like the everyday bus conversations, he was always interested in what we had going on. Like he was studying us and coaching us at the same time. Like it would be, you would have your coaching part, and then we'll come together in that little group, that little mid-practice, midfield huddle, and then we'll just talk. Like it wouldn't even be like a planned conversation. It'd be like a natural flowing conversation, a joke here, something funny happened there, and then he's immediately asking questions. He's always trying to be ahead, or he's always trying to be up to par with what's going on, and that helps him clear what you said he has going on. That's like, that's how you get ahead, or that's how you stay afloat.
Yeah, so I mean those are the people. I'm gonna keep this one short, but so there's this guy Simon Sinek. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of him, but so basically he's a motivational speaker, but he speaks a lot about you know, basically changing company cultures and how to be a leader, and things between those two. And you know, he's got a book called Start With Why. It's a great book, basically about just finding your purpose and leaning into that. And he also has one called The Infinite Game. The Infinite Game is about it's basically, you have two types of companies, right? You've got, or two types of games, he calls them. You got the finite games and the infinite game. So finite games, it's like, you know, you got a football match, right? You got, or I guess the infinite game to that would be the NFL as an organization, and how it's so far everlasting, right? It's just, it continues and continues. But in business, you compare companies like Kodak that, you know, they got, or Blockbuster, even a little bit more relatable, where, you know, at the turn of the century, when things started going to streaming and Netflix was picking up on deliveries, or, you know, internet streaming, yada, 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 right? Blockbuster was refusing to do that because they're making so much money on rental late fees.
Yep.
So what happened to Blockbuster? They're not around no more. Yep. What's up with Netflix? They're still going. I don't know how much longer, but they survived, right? And it's basically the idea that life is infinite as long as it, you know, reality exists, and players will change, right? But the game goes on no matter what. And you play these finite games of little goals here and there between it. But if you want to be, and you want to play the infinite game, you got to, you know, actively engage that and play to those rules rather than playing the finite game. You have to be willing to be flexible and adjust and change with the times. So that's what I think the difference between the leaders that we usually look up to, because we can connect to them more, even if they're older, like him. I mean, he's got 40 years on all of us, but we can still connect to him and have these conversations, whereas other people, not so much. Yeah.
And to add on that, I think that's one of like our biggest lessons, and one of the biggest things that separate us from other generations, like because we have access to so much stuff, we can go look up something and learn it by ourselves. Like there's a lot of things I didn't even have to ask my mom how to do. Like I just looked it up myself, Googled it, and I got the answer to it. But in many cases, most of their information came from like the older generation above them. Like they got direct information from them. And if they needed to seek information, they had to directly go and speak to them. And now it's like it's a reverse type of thing now. Like now we have information as younger people, and it's kind of harder for the older generation to access stuff or learn from us. That's what I feel at times. Like I can teach you a lot of stuff just off like technology based or just different things to make your life easier, but you feel like, oh, I'm older than you, so I should be learning from you. But in reality, like we're a coaching staff and we coach the youth, but I learn from them every day. Like I learn new things, new techniques, different applications on way to work on stuff. So it's like just a different mindset. It's just adjusting the mindset. So like you said, those who adjust their mindset still can continue, and those who don't just get left in the past. And it's unfortunate, but that's what I see a lot.
That's definitely how it is.
It's like y'all remember that game? I think. Well, I know I played it a lot. Elementary school, we go on field trips and stuff. Like on the bus, you play the game telephone.
Yep.
That's how the older generation was. But it's like it's ironic how the world come, because now you get information word of mouth here and there, like the game telephone in the older generation. But now we literally go to a phone for so like Davon is real big on, like, we'll be in the group chat talking, be like, yeah, I don't believe it's not a credible source, and we go get our credible source from literally the palm of our hand in the phone. It's just crazy how the world works like that now. It's like full circle, but it's not. Yeah, it's mind blowing now. I can't even like finish my thought.
No,
it's crazy how
yeah.
it works. But yeah,
You got all the knowledge at your fingertips.
Yeah, literally.
It's like you just it's like in these conversations, you start digging deep enough, you start having like a little breakthrough, and it's just like an epiphany. It's like, wow, like this is the reality that we're in. But man, y'all got anything else on that?
Well, since we're on the technology topic, we can tie that back to like mentoring, because like now with our technology, and it's moving to where you were talking about how Coach has the digital VR platform.
Yeah.
That opens up big opportunities for mentors. So like not only can you mentor local like youth, you can also branch out to spread over the entire country.
Yeah.
So like you can mentor kids in other countries too, based off the technology. You're no longer stuck in this one area. And with something like that, you're gaining, like Davon was saying, you learn from these kids too. So if you're mentoring kids from different countries, you're also learning from those different countries, and it's giving you experiences that you could carry over somewhere else and then help mentor other kids based on what you're hearing. So I feel technology is making the I can't think of the word right now, but making this group of mentoring a lot more effective.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing to see. So
100%.
Definitely agree.
All right, cool. Well, again, we're going to keep the theme with the mentor in here. What do you guys think are a few of the most important lessons that our generation can teach to the next generation? Or what do you think is the most, I guess, pivotal lessons they need in life? Whether it's money, relationships, mindfulness, whatever it may be.
I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes. Because, like, I feel you're going to learn the most when you're going through hardships from the mistakes you make. I'm big on learning the hard way.
Yeah.
Because it drills what you're learning into your head. So once you make that mistake and you feel the impact of it, it's like I don't ever want to make a mistake like that again. So let me learn the right way to do it. So I would say learn from your mistakes. Don't try to be comfortable with life, and don't push yourself because you're scared. You might make a mistake. You just got to go for it. Those mistakes are gonna become lessons. You just gotta know how to take it and move.
Absolutely. Yeah, like on that, like Omar, I think we talked about, you were in like the talented and gifted program too, right?
Yeah, I was.
Were any of y'all in that too?
Partially.
Yeah. So
Standard diploma.
You're fine. So you're better, I'm telling you, you're better off that way. Because when I tell you this, so I don't know if y'all ever heard of Dr. K on YouTube. He does like counseling for streamers and stuff like that. YouTube creators. He did in like a seminar thing talking about how the talented kids, like the ones that are in the accelerated programs, are actually special needs kids now.
I feel
because like Omar was saying, we basically were raised up our entire like childhood and developmental years to think that we were supposed to be better than everyone else, and that we had to achieve better than everyone else, and that if we didn't, it was like you really messed up. So it basically conditions you to play it safe your entire life, to only do the things that you know that you can accomplish. And then that's what leads you into the place where, like Omar was saying, you're deathly afraid of failure. Like the amount of ideas, like entrepreneurial ideas I've had in my life that I never even got to act on, because it's like, if it's not going to get executed perfectly, I'm not even going to try.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Yeah, it's that's a huge thing. It's just you got it. The best things, the best lessons, like you said, come from failure. Like you learn more from failing than you do from succeeding.
Definitely.
It's like I tell some of my players all the time. I said life is not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right.
Yeah.
Like these people that you're trying to prove wrong, you're trying to prove a point to. About 90% of them aren't going to be there in the end, but you're always going to have yourself. So you should always try to prove yourself right more than prove it. I mean, yeah, prove yourself right more than proving others wrong. That's what I tell them all the time. And that's something I started living by myself, especially this year. I had a lot personal going this year, but everything always, when I sat down and like had time to like decompress and like be to myself or like vent to my friends and brothers and stuff, always come back to why am I trying to prove this person wrong, or why am I trying to prove family wrong or this group wrong? I just need to prove myself right, because I know what I'm capable of and I know what I have going on every day and what my goals are. And if I can achieve my goals, I'm proving myself right. And there's no need to set my goals to the standard of proving others wrong, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Perfect sense.
Exactly what you were saying with that.
Yeah. So. I can't remember exactly who said it, but there was someone I used to watch or listen to that repeatedly said over and over that it's not about, competing with other people. It might have still been Simon Sinek. It's just competing with yourself to be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And as long as you're getting better one day at a time, it doesn't matter if you're making huge leaps or if you're just taking one step in front of the other. As long as you're making progress forward, growing, evolving, and adapting and doing stuff like that, you're going to get to where you're trying to go and you're going to reach your dreams. But you can't compare yourself to other people. Otherwise, you're always going to feel like you're the ant of the group, like, in a pack of lions or something.
And that'll definitely keep you from making progress with anything. Because if you compare yourself to others, you're always going to see somebody better than you, no matter what. And that's going to keep you from improving at every part of your life. So like, let's say soccer, if I'm constantly looking at the people better than me and focusing on getting better than them, I'm never going to improve myself. Even if I do manage to get better than them, I'm just going to find the next person like, oh, they're better than me. And it's going to slow you down so much. But when you focus on yourself and you constantly grind to make yourself better than you were yesterday, that's when you're going to see a lot of progress, and you're just going to go up from there.
Yeah, go on, Davon, sorry.
No, I can add on to, it was this guy, I really wish I remember his name, my freshman year of college. He had the best speech for me that ever hit me in life. He said like 3 main points. He was like, if you was stranded on an island, it was interactive. If you was on a boat and the boat broke down and you had 3 life jackets, 2 to 3 people, kind of seminar type of thing that we all did before. And everybody was saying that they would say this person, but nobody said themselves. And he was like, and that's the problem right there. So that was one thing that stood out to me, that always stood out to me. It was like, you can't help everybody and then not help yourself. So every time you get on the airplane, the first thing they say is, in the case of an emergency, make sure you put your mask on first before you help other people put their mask on. And that's always something that stood out to me. And just going back to it, another thing that he did in the seminar, he was like, if I gave you an hour and I gave you 2 rooms, and one room had a millionaire in it and one room had a homeless guy in it, how would you spend your time? A lot of people say, I'm going to go spend that hour and go talk to the millionaire. And he was like, and that's another flaw right there, because why would you talk to the millionaire only who can tell you about how he equated his money, but you won't have the humility to talk to somebody who may have lost it all? And you can learn from both spectrums is what I got from it. So you can learn from somebody who maybe you don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was a millionaire and lost everything. You can learn his strategies to avoid that. And you can learn, of course, from the millionaire and some of the stuff he did, but you can learn from each entity in that point. And my last thing that I learned from school is how you feel is how you act and how you are. So it's basically saying like your mindset. If I'm walking around and I feel like I got this shirt on and it's a little bad and it's baggy and people gonna joke me, so now I feel bad. Like this is not the best fit in the world, so I feel trash. So I'm gonna start acting like I feel down, and then that's my whole energy for that moment. But all I gotta do is switch my mindset and say, well, It feel comfortable, I'm good. If it was cold, I'm warm. If it's hot, I still feel good and I'm comfortable. It's changing that mindset. So mindset plays in a lot of everything we're talking about right now. And it's like, where do we find that balance at?
And that also goes back to focusing on others instead of yourself. Because like with you saying, "Oh, this is a bummy outfit" or this and that, it's based on what you're thinking other people are gonna think about you.
Absolutely.
But once you start focusing on yourself and like, "Oh, this is comfortable, this feels good for me," that's when you start to, getting that positive mindset, and everything turns out good.
Man, that's really good. I mean, both what you guys just brought up, like when it comes to helping other people, making sure yourself like that you're good yourself. I mean, and Omar, we talked about this where, and you guys can probably relate too. We spent a lot of high school trying to help other people. Like I know I poured everything I had in me into other people, thinking that it would make me feel better and that it would make me feel whole after what I went through. And I realized I was just pouring out into everybody else, but I wasn't always getting the same energy back.
Yeah,
So
nobody
eventually,
cared.
you hit rock bottom, and you're just like, I ain't got nothing else to give because no one else is pouring it back into me. So I had a conversation with a girl I used to date about this. She was worried that when it came to like expressing love to other people, or just being positive and trying to help other people, was gonna burn me out again. I was like, no, like I'm good now. Like I realized that, you know, if I'm just doing it the way I used to, I was only okay or like surviving, and I'm trying to help people. Like, what's the quality that I can give somebody if I'm just barely surviving, versus what's the quality of help I can extend to other people if I'm thriving, right? And I have excess resources, whatever, just whether it's time, wisdom, money, whatever I can give to more people, I can help more and help better in the situation. So you got to take care of yourself before you try to take care of others. Fill your cup until it overflows, and then let that spill into others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We just had that conversation last week.
Yeah.
Or earlier this week. It was yeah, we just had that conversation this week.
Yeah, it was
I'm gonna just leave it at that because me and Davon, it was more like an exchange.
Yeah,
like I was expressing something, and then remember that mind manipulation thing I was telling you. He kind of like, we talked about that before you got up here, but he literally just like, all right, so he asked me a set of questions, and then he was like, okay, and I answered. He said no. He wanted how I felt, but I kept expressing other things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only saying it like this to avoid. You get it's there though. You get it.
I get the what you get.
You can smell what's cooking.
Yeah. All right, Dwayne.
Oh yeah.
So since I know we're all at a point in our lives where we know we need to focus on ourselves a lot more. If y'all are comfortable speaking about it, what was that turning point for y'all? Like, when did y'all realize y'all needed to start focusing on yourselves instead of, putting your energy into other people?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think, and this could have, I could have let this go in the last episode about relationships, but for me, I think it was towards the end of the gal I was dating in high school. When that started going downhill, it started going downhill because I realized I was like, man, we've been off and on. I've been dumped how many times? I always feel like I'm trying to fix it. Now, this is just like my selfish, perspective at the time, because by no means was I perfect in this relationship, right? I was far from it. But I got to the point where I was like, I want to keep progressing, but I feel like I can't in the situation I'm in. So it's like, am I just going to keep sitting here and just settling for like what I have now? And, just I'll stay here with this because, we didn't want to progress at the same rate. Or do I want to, let myself go, stop draining my energy and give myself a chance to recoup, rebuild, and then rediscover who I am. Now, mind you, this is coming off the piggyback of in 2014, I almost killed myself because I hit a really bad low, and I got through it. Everything's good, but climbing back out of that, that's when I started saying, all right, enough is enough. Like I hit my rock bottom. I was like, I don't want to drown. I want to swim and I want to thrive. So I started building up, like we were talking about, one brick at a time, one step at a time. and eventually got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm plateauing, and why am I plateauing? It's because of the people I surround myself with. And that's what I realized. It was that. It's the company you keep. It's like your network is your net worth. If you don't surround yourself with people that are going the same place you want to go, you're not going to get there. So I had to, reorganize my friend groups and my relationships and whatnot. And it eventually put me on a trajectory where I spent a couple years, like at least 4 or 5 years, just rediscovering myself and rebuilding and healing. And I'd say within the past 3 years is probably where I started hitting my stride and actually, just exponentially getting better and better and finding my way and really, starting to feel like I know my true purpose and whatnot. So yeah, it was right after the rock bottom, I hit that plateau and I was like, why am I not continuing to get better? So that was my wake up call.
So in your first episode, Omar mentioned he was I think the conversation was like, you surround yourself with people that motivate you to do better. And me and Davon and about 7 or 8 other guys, we've been in the same group chat since high school, like since we met. And everybody in the group chat is progressing in life. And I can't relate to everybody else. I don't know how everybody else's friend group or circle is, but like to see the everyday progress or like to see the success that they're having, it pushes you. It's a friendly competition. Like, okay, somebody comes in the group chat today, hey, I just got a new job, hey, I just got a promotion, hey, I just graduated with my master's. It's like, okay, so now what am I going to do? Hey, I just started my career. I just passed another qualification in my career. So every day is progression, and you surround yourself with that people, and it not only keeps your spirits high, but it keeps you motivated to do better because you don't want to be last, but you're also happy for others.
Yeah.
So that's when I like really realized like, okay, I see what I got to do, but I also see I'm not alone in it. But I also see like I can relate, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I can relate to what these guys are doing. Like, okay, this person has a family. I'm happy for them. That's good. Okay, so I know there's love for me out there somewhere. If that's the route I'm going, that's my route of thinking for the day. I'm in school, but I just got a job in my career. Okay, I know if I work hard or if I focus, I can pass a certain amount of classes. I can be in the career field I want to be in. We got people that's in school. We got engineers. We got people that's in the school system. We got people that are passing CDLs. Like, it's motivating to see others do good, and it also pushes you at the same time. So I think that's when it really like clicked for me, especially earlier this year with the success that we've all had as a friend group. It's like, dang, this is just the beginning. We can really take this to new heights and new levels. And it's a competitive race, but it's also the push that you need in life. Everybody doesn't have that. And to have 9 or 10 people doing that consistently every day, it does wonders for you as a person and your self-esteem. So I think that's really what it was for me. Like, hey, we just got to go get it. Like,
yeah,
and
that's
there's
dope.
people here showing you to go get it. But yeah, that's how I was to that. And that's like when he talked about it in the first episode, I was like, I get exactly where he's coming from. I didn't fumble it like he did,
yeah,
but I
He
get
got
where he's
sticky, and someone got motivated.
it's hey. Yeah, it happens. Like it happens. But you understood it. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people be naive, like, I don't need them. I'm all right.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
sometimes you really do need people. You need that push sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Like I said earlier, I gotta learn from I'm one of those people that I gotta learn from my mistakes. Like I gotta take the hard impact from it. And then that's exactly why I was able to change from that situation.
I'm one of the people that learn from multiple mistakes.
you have to repeat mistakes sometimes. Yeah, like, you just gotta get it through.
I'm the type of person, like, if the stove is hot, I'll touch it. And I'd be like,
wasn't that hot that time?
I touch it again, yeah. And it's like, all right, okay, why did I do that? And like a lot of times I still question myself, like, why did I do that? And then I do it again and be like, now why did I really do that? And it's like, okay, I get it now. So like,
you just need the reinforcement.
Yeah, I gotta prove, like, I gotta prove myself. Like I told earlier, I prove myself right. Like, I know it's hot, but I have to touch it twice to make
you
sure
just making sure it's still hot.
Like,
yeah, but I just want to take a second to celebrate the fact that y'all got that many. Y'all got 9-10 people. You said,
and that's crazy.
Like a group chat,
10-11.
And I noticed that too. I'm like, yo, they still hang out. That's dope.
I
That's
see
dope.
it. I see it
Yeah.
all the time. Like all the time. Like
We're
we're
always
about
see
to
all
hang
the
out after
accountability
this.
posts.
Huh?
I see y'all's accountability posts on there all the time.
Yeah.
Love it, man. I'll tell you this. Omar, since I moved back here, Omar is the first person I found that I'm around that I can like. I know is going to try to push me and like we can bounce off each other and inspire each other, kind of thing.
And you need that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, definitely.
dude, the whole slumps thing, man. When I first got down here from January to March, I was in a rut, like the lowest rut.
Especially as males, you need that. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was a clip I was watching on my way over here. Yeah, I was watching it and driving it at the same time.
No, you were listening.
But-
You were listening.
Yeah, I
you
was
were
listening to it. So it was the UFC fight. I think he had a fight last night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
After his win, like he took time out of one of his most memorable moments of his life to address the mental health of men. Or I didn't get the full gist of it. I just saw the clip, and I know it was something dealing with suicide thoughts or mental health for men. And we carry a lot as men. Like I don't have a family, and I don't have like a relationship. I don't have kids, but I still feel a lot.
Yeah.
As a man, I feel a lot. I have sisters to look after. I have a mom to look after. I have, a grandfather that's older. I have a dog. Like I work. I deal with kids.
You're trying to build for the future. Right?
I feel that, and that's without the three major things in life, like a family, kids, a wife, a girlfriend. That's without that. So I can only imagine how it feels to have the pressures of that, and then deal with everything else I'm doing. So what I'm dealing with is completely like, not to knock it. It's like it's nowhere near dealing with what other men deal with. Yeah, and I still feel like overwhelmed sometimes.
I hear that. I mean, if y'all want to cut in, let me know, so I ain't just talking this whole time. But I mean, men don't tend to communicate what we're going through because we tend to internalize things, just deal with like the rational mind of working through our problems, because we don't want to. I don't know about y'all, but I don't benefit much from just I can, and not to knock Davon or nothing, because I should. This is where I'm a hypocrite, man. I preach to people. I'm like, even if you're doing great, go to a therapist. It's maintenance. But to this day, I have not been to a therapist.
I haven't either.
So,
and I've been told I need to go.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I'm good. I go to Davon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
I'm good. I hit the group chat.
Yeah. No, when you surround yourself with that many people that care about you and want to see you succeed, like, I mean, hey, that's
just as effective.
Good. But it's a lot. I don't know if it's pride or ego that we refuse to go get help sometimes.
That's exactly what it is for me. I don't know. I feel and I need to get out of this mindset, but I feel like I can handle everything on my own.
Yep.
When that can cause problems, and I have come across my problems. So like on the topic of like where we found our turning point, it was like mine was fairly recent. So beginning of 2020, like right before COVID shut anything down. So I'm not even gonna lie, COVID was a good year for me, and and it sounds weird because everything that went on. But around that time, I was going through a lot. Like I started realizing people didn't really care about me. I was only the guy to have fun around. Like I was just like, you know what I mean? Nobody cared about me, but when I was drunk, everybody, oh, this guy's cool. And I started noticing things like that. And everything started going downhill. And the beginning of 2020, February 16th, I was going to kill myself. But for whatever reason, something in my head clicked, and I'm like, these people don't even care about me. So why is it that I'm caring about them? And luckily, like after that day, I didn't do it, but I had so many thoughts about it after. And then that's when COVID came around and it was like, all right, everything shut down. So I had nothing but myself. It was no going out and doing anything. So like it gave me time to like actually think on it and realize that I'm the only one that really cares about myself. So I should focus on myself and improve myself and not worry about what others think. So like now I'm in this mindset, I don't care what your opinion is of me. I don't care if you think you're better than me at certain things. At the end of the day, if I'm competing with anybody, it's myself. I want to always be better than I was yesterday and weeks ago. So that was like my turning point. It's just realizing people didn't care to the point where it completely destroyed me, because I was putting my energy out into everybody. I'm a very generous person, so like I'm open to helping anybody, even if I'm on my last dime. Like I'm gonna help. But now ever since ever since that, I've been on the up, and it like focusing on yourself, you realize how much you can improve, and like life's been great since. And I'm happy that, and it sounds bad, but I'm happy for that COVID year because everything, it gave me time to think about myself, and now I'm just like the happiest person in the world. I don't really struggle with anything no more now that I'm focusing on myself. My mental health has been great, and I advise other people to start paying attention to their own mental health and doing things on your own.
And I can add on to that as well. I'm gonna say my first part. When I first hit that bottom, because I think it's important that we're all gonna hit that bottom. We all may hit it a couple times. It was right after we graduated high school. For the viewers that don't know, we all went to high school together, and we graduated in 2015. And going after that graduation, I was like how you said, the gifted and talented people. We all play sports, so we all had some level of special treatment. So I remember graduating. Everybody was like, "So what you gonna do? You play football? You wrestle? You going to school to play football?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really want to go to school, but I did. I committed to a school. Like a couple weeks before we got to school, the whole coaching staff got switched around. It was like, "Yeah, you can try out, but we're not giving you an offer." So I'm going to school with already thinking like with that ego and that pride. Man, I'm the man. I was the man in high school, everything. And then when you get there, it's like you face that reality. Like there's other people on this football team that's a little bit better than you. There's people on this campus that had a little bit better upbringing than you. They got more access to stuff. And then they push you down because you got that pride and stuff. And that's gonna go into the point where it's like a lot of us don't think we're doing therapy, but it's a whole bunch of stuff that we do that is therapy for us every day. And like when I had to realize that, because it took a while, I was down. I went to school. I did good my first semester. I was like, man, I'm good. I got a whatever 3 this GPA. The next semester, won something. Like took everything down. Grades was terrible. At home life was terrible. And then you just sit in that moment. You like, dang, like, what can I do? Like, so I'm glad that I hit that point as well. But it's like how Paul said, we don't think we do therapy, but we do therapy every day. Like if we go to the gym, that's a part of therapy. Mm-hmm. Talking to our friends, that's a part of therapy. Going outside for a walk, understanding like, oh yeah, I don't feel good right now. Let me go get this candy bar that I like. Let me go play a game for a minute. Let me go get a workout session in. Let me talk to my friends. That's therapy we do every day. And we don't need to sign up to speak to a therapist. And a lot of people hit me up and they think like, oh yeah, Davon, you're a counselor. What's your advice? My advice is do something you love. Like we always get caught up in like these moments where I think I should be doing this, and then we use reality. Like I like to play the game sometimes. All I gotta do is call my group chat. Hey, let's get on the game. We get on the game, 30 minutes. We start talking. I forget that I was even sad. I forget that I was even mad. I go do a workout. I'm like, dang, I was just sad this morning. I forgot all about it. And that's self-therapy. We do self-therapy every day. That's why I love when I had this conversation with people and they be like, yeah, I don't think therapy is for me. And I did therapy. I went to therapy because someone told me how you gonna help others if you can't help yourself. And when I went to therapy, it just confirmed all of the same stuff that I already thought. Like, it seems like you got a good group of friends. Do you like talking to them? Yeah. So talk to them more. Oh, okay. That's okay. Oh, wow. You like doing this? Right. Do it more. Like when you start feeling bad, go do this stuff. So we do self-therapy every day. We don't even realize it, and it helps us out. So that
and it's crazy because I was talking to Paul the other day, and I was bringing up how photography was a stress reliever for me. And now I'm thinking about like, yeah, that was a form of therapy. Like when I was stressed, I would just grab my camera and go out, flick some photos. So like that's I completely understand that. That's probably something that helped me a lot. So.
Man, Alex, you lucky I can't find an air horn right now. There's one in this room somewhere. I got an air horn. I'd be blasting that thing right now after that gem Davon just dropped. That was
that was good.
Incredible, man. Yeah. Like that was inspiring like crazy. Like shout out to you, man. That was killer. That's why I knew I was looking forward to this conversation with y'all. Because y'all both like we always all got along, right? But now we all got a well-rounded like group of it. We got the creatives, we got academics, everyone, the whole shebang. I don't know what the heck I am. We got the technically skilled over here, but like it's I love having conversations like this and having gems like that come out. Because this is the reason that I wanted to start this podcast, and Omar as well. Like we wanted to start this podcast is because stuff like that, information like that, is something that people need, and it needs to get out to more people. And so, I mean, first of all, just thank y'all for being on here. We're not done yet, but I just want to appreciate y'all in the middle of this.
Love podcast. I watch podcasts more than TV now because this is this is the reality.
I want to piggyback off what Davon said for a little bit, as far as like he's saying his experience of like the whole leaving school, being a super athlete in school, which he was. I don't want to boost his ego anymore. But, like a part of the reason I got into coaching is it was a personal experience. Like when it was just when I was younger, my mom put me in everything. Like any sport, you name it. She just wanted me active. Swimming, soccer. I actually played soccer before I got to Denby. I promise I was a lot better than I was now. I really just took up a roster spot. Like Coach said, he's like, hey, no diversity.
Bro, so it was the morale. It was the camaraderie.
It's just, we was just, guys, let's do it.
Bro. That was our therapy at the time.
There you go. So, like, I was younger. I was real good at football. Like, but everyone always said, and I never really saw it. I was just out there playing. I was almost robotic. Like, oh, I know I have to do what Coach say. Oh, I see it on TV. I have to do it like that. And like, I want kids to know, like, if you don't make it, like everybody's goal is to go D1. Everybody's goal is to go to the NFL. If you don't make it, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to stop being around football. So like, as I got older, I started to realize, okay, I'm not as athletic as the other guy, but I still have the mind for football. So there's other ways you can benefit on the field. But at a certain point, especially when you get into high school, you have to somewhat be at a athletic standard to get looked at by these schools. And I had a chance to go play at 2 schools. I didn't do it for other reasons, and it just wasn't there. But I knew there's other ways to be around football, like coaching. You can be around football, and the knowledge that you have, you can pass on to somebody that don't have the knowledge that I have, but they have the skills that I didn't have. So now you're taking a part of you and you're putting it into them, and you're benefiting. I don't want to say benefiting off of them, but you can see the success, and that's just as good as having your own success if you really have a pure heart about it. I love football. Absolutely. Like, football is my favorite sport. I love it. I could talk about it all day. It's just there. Like, when I was younger, I used to draw plays, and like for no reason, I used to draw plays. I was like 8 or 9 drawing plays. And like me and my friends, we had our own little street ball league. Like, I loved football. Like, football was year round. I loved it. And when I had the first opportunity to coach, I jumped on it because it's like, why stop my passion because I wasn't able to do what others are doing on TV? I'm not able to do what these younger guys are doing in high school. Why do I have to stop my passion for that? And I want kids to know, like, just because you can't physically do it on the field doesn't mean you can't mentally do it through the sport in itself. Yeah. So that's part of the biggest reasons I got into coaching. And when I just had to say that because when he brought that up, I was like, I instantly wanted to be like, I wanted to go back and talk to like high school Davon, like, yo, you don't have to play to be around the game. I just had the urge to say that, but that's the real reason why I got into coaching. I want kids to know, like, there's other ways of doing it, and that's not just football; it's any sport.
Absolutely, and it's not even just coaching too. Like, you can be, and this can go for sports, anything that you care about, whether it's like, people that are they love music, right? But maybe they're not the most talented musician.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. If you just open up your mind and like, widen your gaze and look in that peripheral area where you can see other opportunities that keep you in that, like, the vicinity of things you love and things you're passionate about. And that, that can help you get into a position where maybe you're not going to a 9 to 5 that you hate and you relish going to every day. Like, maybe you go into somewhere, it's, and we talked about this 1 or 2 episodes ago, Omar, but it was Marcus Buckingham, I think it was the name. He talked about the red thread theory. It's basically like deals with burnout in people in their jobs, and they figured out like it's at exactly 19%. If there's anything less than 19% of something that you love to do in your job, you will get burned out every time, and then you're gonna hate your job. You're gonna hate your place of work, and you want to quit. But so as long as you can attain that 19%, I hope I didn't just screw that up twice, but as long as you can attain that 19%, like you can find fulfillment in your job, and you might love it. So it's about like being creative about how you approach the things you love in life.
I actually love my job. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like, it might be like a 70-30, but they might be higher than that. It might be like 80-20, but the 20% I don't like, I really hate it. And most of it's just waking up. Most of it's just waking up. And I think it's really just waking up in the weather.
Yeah.
I would classify that like 10-10, which makes 20. And
that 20 feels like 60 though sometimes, right?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. It's like, I love it, but it's like the parts that I hate, I really hate it.
Mm-hmm. That's how the military was for me. Oh, go ahead.
I'm glad you said that. One more thing about working in a lot. When we were growing up, the only thing we used to hear about is find something you can make a lot of money, make a lot of money, make a lot of money. No matter what you do, make sure you make a lot of money. When you get there, make sure you make a lot of money, money. Yep. And then I was so glad, like, because I was doing some military stuff as well. I was doing some trainings. I got to do a lot of different things, like work wise, and it's like, yeah, there's jobs out here that you can go, you can make a ton of money. I promise you, make a lot of money. But when you start trading money for happiness, that's when burnout comes in. That's when it starts to suck. Like when you wake up and dread it. I'm like, okay. So I started really reevaluating because I had opportunity to go work and make a lot of money, but you got to work 7 days a week, or you might got to work all day. It's just like you really got to weigh those options. There's so many different things out here to consider that growing up, you got to be the man, the alpha man. You got to make a lot of money so you can pay for everything and be able to do everything. But it's like, it's so much more to that, like so much more. And I just wish that someone, like how we said, we had mentors closer to us that could have explained that to us. Like, it's easier ways to do what we want to do. Like, I feel like a lot of people had to do it the hard way, so that's all they know. And like Omar said, like, I'm the captain of, oh yeah, what? That's hot. Think it's hot. Let me see. All right, yeah, you was right. You was right. Like, I gotta learn for myself. And it's like, it's so many things that we can avoid if we just think about it. Like, if we have somebody to talk to, it can make it so much easier. It's like, chase happiness. Do something that's gonna make you happy. You don't feel like you're working. That's a good thing. I'm sorry, I like quotes. I like to put out the quotes that stick with me.
That's dude, it's like Coach Dimar used to say all the time. This is what he told me. He said, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
That's huge. And then the other thing is that if you do what you love, the money will follow.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're gonna work harder. You're gonna work longer, but you're not gonna get burnt out from it. You're gonna work more effectively and find better ways to do things because you're motivated, you're engaged, you're passionate about this. So you're just gonna build on that. That's how you start seeing people that get really like uber successful. Yeah. It's the ones that find what they love and find a way to maybe monetize it and just dive headfirst into it. Yeah. But you don't see them complaining about the thing they love in that. It's the little things off the side. It's like Omar, we were talking about the business, right? Photography. It's like you love to do photography, you just hate the admin stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually,
absolutely, man.
But because I love it, I deal with that the admin part of it, just because I know, and at the end of the day, once it takes off, no matter how hard the admin stuff gets, I'm still gonna love what I'm doing, and it's gonna make me feel fulfilled in life, and is only up from there. So,
preach. Yeah, awesome. Y'all want to wrap anything else up into that, or do we want to move on to something else? That was good. You about ready to go?
No, that was there.
Okay. Heck yeah. No, we're good. Cool. All right. Well, I mean, just I guess one or two more like exit thoughts on it as far as like what are the most important things. I mean, one thing I think is the conversations around money. Not just about what's the actual worth of it. Is it worth burning yourself out? Is it worth working a job you hate and spending a third of your life being miserable chasing a dollar? But also how to manage it, how to, respect it, how to manage it in relationships, because as we all know, I mean, the leading cause of divorce or the leading cited reason in divorce is money issues. So if you can't get your money right, you're not going to get your relationship right half the time. And on top of that is the mindfulness, right? That we can talk about, and we can kind of marry it back into this next thing. And so we're going to talk about generally how your mental well-being and just your physical well-being is affected by external factors as well as internal factors today, and maybe what we could see becoming an issue or a solution in the future too. So Davon, is there anything you wanted to touch on real quick?
Yeah, just adding some more quotes because that's my famous. But I just wanted to say, like, I started my business, but I didn't start my business to acquire money or to get a large following or things of that nature. I really wanted to spread information because I saw a lot of stuff that was going on. I know we were affected by the pandemic, and just to plug my business, not so it can get anything, but I just want to say some of the stuff I do. It's called Connecting the Dots. Is where I share just different information on the 8 dimensions of wellness, and hopefully people look it up to find out what it is because it's so much stuff that goes into how we feel. And I just want to just add in another quote that I heard. It was like, "We're all athletes. If you twist your ankle or you bruise your ankle, you will put ice on it. If you had a broken hand, you will put a cast on it. But if you're feeling some type of way mentally, we try to ignore it instead of trying to fix that same solution." And it's like, what are we gonna do to get to that point? Because over time, it's either gonna get better or it's gonna get worse. So like, we are the people that can help make that change within generations. And it's like, I try to put that on the younger kids because they don't even understand like the things that they say affect who they are. And it's like just trying to get them to not only think about how to maximize their physical ability, but their mental capability, excuse me. It's like it's those barriers we gotta break within ourselves, being men in society, young men, and trying to break all of the stigmas that was already put on us. Is like, what are some of the things that we see in the future that we can do to improve on? Like, because it's bad for us sometimes. Like, we get bashed. Social media, you get up there, we getting bashed. It's like we didn't even get to get started, and y'all already bashing us. We didn't even get a chance yet. So it's like I definitely want to make sure we all think about that in a way.
Amen. And so first thing I'm gonna say is don't apologize for plugging it because I would have made you plug it at the end anyways. So we're gonna have links to Devon's Instagram. You got a website too, whatever you got. We'll get with you after this, and we're gonna put it down in the comment section as well as the description, so y'all go check it out. This man has a huge heart, and he's trying to help people, so y'all go support him. All right, help him help more people. And then on top of that, I just had something and I lost it.
All right.
That was important though. But y'all got anything else to add on to what he said?
As, as far as you said you gave us two topics.
So leading off of what he was talking about, so the taking care of yourself, like you being mindful of your own well-being, and what the kind of things out in the world right now that are affecting us. I guess the best way we could wrap this up into this conversation is that, I mean, again, just like we were talking about in the last one, like we're all dudes here. I don't think any of us have any idea what it's like to be a young woman in this world. So I'm not going to try to tell anyone how they should feel about things, how they should go about things, because I have no idea. I know what it's like to be a young man, and a young adult, so I can speak on that. I'm comfortable with that. But so if y'all are fine with that, we can just wrap it up into, I guess, advice for the young men out here.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So we can kind of swing it back to what you were saying earlier.
Yeah. So you also made you said something about money, and I hear people all the time say it's a lot of ways people look at money. They look at money as, they say money's the root of all evilness, or money buys happiness, or money makes or break a relationship. And all those things are true, but to wrap it all up into one, money is whatever you make it. Like, you could be the brokest person, and this is such a cliche, but like I just have to say it because it's true. You could be the brokest person on the planet and be the happiest. Like, you can ride down Jefferson, see somebody with nothing, and they're just, hopefully they're not doing this, but it looks like it's staring in the sun and just, I'm happy I'm alive today. And you could be that same person riding past him in a BMW, big house, nice job, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just sick of this. Money is whatever you make it. Like, it's good to have money. It's good to have money to sit on. It's good to have money to fall, a rainy day. It's good to have money to be able to do what you want. That makes you happy. That makes me happy. Shit. I mean, it makes me happy. But at the same time, I've been in points in my life where I didn't have that much money that I might be making now or that I have. And I've been happier at times then than I am now. It's just all about whatever you make it. And for the young men out there, just it's like I said, it's just whatever you make it. Like life is whatever you make it. You have goals, go do it. Like I told you, focus on proving yourself right and not proving others wrong. Because in life, you have people are put in your life for a reason, but you're also put on this planet for a reason. So always look at that first before you look at the other reasons why people are in your life. That's what I got for us.
Yeah. On that, like, I'm just gonna give a quick quote. I got into this cult called Dave Ramsey Solutions and whatnot, trying to get my money right. And one thing he always said was, money makes you more of what you already are. So if you're happy, it's going to make you the happiest person on the planet. If you're, angry, it's going to turn you into the angriest person on the planet. It's just, money is an amplifier that, it's just, we can do more of what we are already doing with the money. It doesn't change who we are as a person. So, if we're depressed, you're going to see people go and spend their money on alcohol, drugs, whatever, and they're going to drink themselves to death or overdose. If you got someone that's happy and generous, you're going to see them give all their money away and become even more happy because they can feel great that they're helping other people. So it's really just, money will just make you more of what you are. And I thought that was actually like a really good quote.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Omar, Davon, you guys got anything or about the current state of affairs? We want to talk about just men's mental health. We want to talk about something else.
My thing is that it all comes back to yourself. Always. Like if you focus on yourself, life will be great. And I'm just gonna keep it as simple as that.
Okay, no, I hear that. Yeah, it's Davon, you got some? If not, I can go.
I'll just add on, just life is about connections for me. It's like people don't know, like we went to school, we're coming up on 10 years and I still feel like we're still connected. Like we had classes together long time ago. I still remember the connections we made and it's still there. Like life is really about connections, and a lot of stuff it's not who you know or what you know, it's who knows you and what can you do. But I'm gonna end it with a quote I found out today about just sneakers, the Jackie Robinson sneakers. They said his I hope I don't mess this up, but his famous quote was, life is not about what you do, it's about how much you impact others. And I know I said it wrong, but we can look it up and find out what exactly says, man. That's really what it comes down to. Like, how can you impact others? Like, what are the connections you made? Because it's tough out here for us sometimes, but the connections you make help us last and get through things. So life is really about the connections we make and keep.
Absolutely. It's like the idea that, one day you're going to return to the earth from whence you came. And, it's are you going to go there with all your earthly possessions, whatever, and that's all you got? Or are you going to, make an impact on people that creates that ripple effect to where your impact influences the future generations you live on in that sense? Yeah. Amen to that. I think, one thing we already talked about, we talked about being able to, rely on each other as far as like open up to whoever or do your different types of therapies. You talked about having to bear the weight of all these different things without even just the mention of like, a relationship or kids. That's something I think we can go back to. When it comes to like relationships, I think part of it is because we kind of mentioned this beforehand, how men, because a lot of us were raised by single mothers, we have a little bit more feminine traits, right? We're a little bit more feminine, and men or women tend to be a little bit more masculine because if they were raised by a single mother, they were raised to be the man that wasn't around the house. So right now, I think our generation's dealing with like a unique problem that's just been growing and growing over time. We're not the first ones, but I think it's starting to really come to a head of where gender roles helped us get through a lot, and we saw a lot of advancements and stuff like that in the world when that was going on. But things have changed and society's changed around us as well, and we, I guess, adapted in a unhealthy way or not conducive way towards having these relationships anymore. Because when you meet in the middle, when everyone's just average at everything, I mean, nothing really gets done well. So we don't have men being men and women being women, doing the things that only men can do well and only women can do well, right? Those special, traits that we bring, whether it's the woman like that soft, nurturing side, that in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, I feel like can actually be easier on you than being alone. And you got someone that you can count on back home that makes your life better in whatever immeasurable ways. But the state of dating right now is everyone's just date. We're not dating to love people. We're not dating to build together. So it's a sad state of affairs. We're in that swipe left, swipe right culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But shoot, if y'all got anything else? If not, I mean, we've been going for a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I'm done after this.
No,
but when you was talking about the gender roles and how they're like
skewed.
Skewed. There we go. So like a lot of people will say the world is less accepting than it's ever been because it's the hate crimes and things like that towards certain types of people or races. But at the same time, and the flip side of it, it's almost as open as it's ever been. We have laws for certain people, and we have I don't know the word. It starts with I don't know the word off the top of my head, but we have I guess like it's certain like fundings and bills being passed for certain races now. Like it's more open than ever, but it's also I guess less accepting than ever. It's a very interesting time that we're in right now.
We're in a weird spot.
It's literally a gray area. Like
really divided. It is one of the we're living in the most polarized time in human history. It feels like
that one day we're praising somebody has a law or a bill passed for their type, and then the next day you have a tragedy in a large setting, and it's just like attacking that certain group. It's really interesting. Like it's an interesting time that we're in.
Yeah. So I mean, the best thing you can do is, and this comes back to mental wellness and whatnot. One thing I've always tried to internalize is that I try not to worry about things too much. Obviously it's going to happen here and there, but I don't worry about much because I just ask myself, can I do something about it? If the answer is yes, then why worry? Just do something about it. If no, it's out of your hands. Why worry? You can't do anything about it. So just you got to roll with the punches and control the controllables. That's how I tend to cope with all these rapidly changing and influential things happening, whether it's in politics, society, culture, whatever. But it's just you got to try and adapt and overcome as best you can. Well, if that's it, Davon, you want to plug Connecting the Dots again?
Working on relaunching, rebranding, trying to get some more relevant information. I'm trying to use some more creativity, like use some TV things, some movie things, get different plugs and different information. But I definitely want to say I appreciate you guys for this podcast because that's my new thing. I don't even watch TV as much as I used to because I'm so much on the move. Podcast you can put in and you can hear people's real-time thoughts. In reality, it's not scripted, it's not acted. And it's just we need different things where we can just really get reality because like we said, it's the open opportunity. And hopefully someone is sparked to do a podcast like this. Because I always wanted to do one and I was scared, but I seen the motivation. Y'all inspiring me to want to do it more. And it's just this is the open opportunity. If you got something, put it out there. We wait to do something perfect and we just need to do it. So that's what I'm about to start doing with the brand, putting out information to help us with wellness. So let's just keep putting stuff out there. That's what I'm gonna try to do now.
And definitely get with me about that because I like the message you have going with it. And I'm in the field of somewhat branding with video and photo and stuff. So I'm definitely down to help out with that so you can push a message and get things rolling.
Definitely gonna contact you. And I'm challenging you and Paul. It'll be off the live, but I'm trying to get you guys to get out there, maybe try to get a team for you guys, some soccer stuff. And I'm definitely gonna try to get you guys to come to my school and talk to my sixth graders. I got sixth graders now, but I'm trying to bring as many resources as I can as possible that's in the area because it's that disconnect. Like now I'm back in the school and it's like, who's this young guy? You a student? And it's like, no, I work here. So I'm making sure that we get those familiar faces. So just and also holding each other accountable is something we're big on doing. So I'm gonna get myself accountable to make sure I get all three of y'all in the school and try to connect with these kids because they need it more than ever.
Hey, you let me know, give me a time and date, I'll pull up.
Right. Yeah.
I ain't worried about my work schedule, nothing like that. That's secondary, man. I'll make it work.
I don't got nothing to plug, but I just got to get you guys some good old Tri-City merch. We got a lot of new merch coming out. You know, we're trying to raise money, do things. It's gonna be on me. I'm gonna get you guys some cool T-shirts, some hoodies, and get y'all the schedule to come out to a couple games, support.
Oh, definitely.
The whole experience in itself, from flag all the way up to 14U, it's one of the best. It's one of the best experiences in the area as far as sports from our league all the way up to college. I'll put it up there with anybody. The whole atmosphere, the tents, the welcoming of the people, the quality of competition, the level of athleticism we put on the field, the concessions, the people, the music. It's a great experience. You guys got to come out there and enjoy it on one Saturday. Y'all would enjoy it a lot. And that's for anybody watching. Come out and support the kids, man. They really appreciate it. Definitely.
Done and done. And you ain't gonna buy me nothing, man. I will happily support that. I'm big on supporting my people.
Gotcha.
You know, so
Definitely.
Let me know. I'll stroke the
Gotcha.
check.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Omar, you want to plug anything? Anything new? Anything old?
Same old photography, video. Getting into the marketing thing.
Cool. All right, and if y'all want to link up with Davon, Alex, me, or Omar, it's gonna be down in the description below. You can check out the IGs. Anything else we got in there, we're gonna throw down there too in the description. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the video. All right, we're at 20 subs. I know it ain't much, but it's big for me. I'm happy that we started this thing and it's starting to grow. So please just, support us, like, subscribe, share with your friends if you got some good out of it. Clips can keep coming. And that's really it. So unless y'all got anything else, peace.
Deuces.